Yeah, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for today's session, no need to log in your Sandbox accounts because of today I'd like to introduce the Salesforce programming language. So I don't want to utilize your Sandbox accounts. Yeah, anyway, so officially Salesforce is having the programming language. We call it as Apex. Apex is the official Salesforce programming language. So we can write Apex classes, we can write Apex triggers, and we can write some API integrations. And anyway, until development functionality will be depending on the Apex language only. So if it comes to the Lightning part, there JavaScript, HTML, and CSS and XML comes to the picture. But for purely Salesforce functionality is depending on the Apex language only. So what are the business logics? So we used to write inside this Apex programming, and coming to the UI related functionality, we should depending on the Lightning part. When we are discussing about the RWC, so in Lightning Web Component, in Lightning Web Components, there we should have some basic knowledge on the JavaScript, HTML, and the CSS functionality. So, but before Lightning, only Salesforce is having classic version. Like now we are in the Lightning version only, but anyway, for any customization, for UI perspective, we should depending on Lightning only. So nowadays we should totally depending on the Lightning only. But without having any Apex knowledge, so you can't work with the Lightning directly because of we are getting data from the Salesforce objects only, right? We are not having any other resource to get the data. That is the reason first the Apex language is mandatory. After that only Lightning is. So first of all, Apex we should learn properly. If you know the Apex functionality, automatically you will get some basic idea on the Lightning Web Components. So with the help of LWC, you can customize your screens and your business automation process. Yeah. So first of all, what is Apex, guys? What is mean by Apex? Anyone have any idea? What is Apex?
Apex is a programming language.
Yeah, that
It's,
part I just told you. Apex is a Salesforce official programming language. Apart from that, any lines, any two lines?
It's an object-oriented programming.
Yeah, Apex is an object-oriented programming. It totally depends on loops concept. And apart from that, Apex is Salesforce internal language, and it runs on loops concept. And again, any few lines. Any just two lines, try two lines. Google answer also fine. Yeah, let me share. Yeah, first of all, where we can write the Apex. See, please note it, guys. So for the navigation part, so if you want to write any programming, any programs inside the sandbox environment, see, before starting up the sessions, I told you like in the production environment. So if you are working for the real-time projects, there two type of environments are there. One is production, another one is sandbox. Now we are on sandbox. If you are trying to write any single line code on production environment, like which is using by the client side, so that is not possible to implement any single line of code inside the prod environment because of so we must write any programs within the sandbox environment only. So to write any Apex class, there is a tool called developer console. So it's an internal tool, guys, to write Apex language. So we are having the developer console tool. Coming to the LWC part, so it is not possible to implement Lightning Web Components inside the developer console. For entire Apex and up to Aura functionality, we can have the internal tool called developer console. So this is the tool. So if you identify, there are few buttons available: file, edit, debug, test, workspace, and help. And below section, there are so many buttons: logs, test, checkpoints, query editor, view state, progress, problems. So many things are there. But don't worry. So for today's, every day you will get some functionality about these buttons. So I'd like to start with the file button. Yeah, from here, what we can do. So before navigating, if you want to navigate this functionality from the setup, there is a tool called developer console. If you click on that developer console, you will get navigate into this particular UI. And after that, if you want to create any programming related things, so you should click on this file button. From here, if you want to create anything, like in the development part, where as I said, there is a Apex classes, Apex triggers, Visualforce space, Visualforce component, static resource, Lightning application, Lightning component, Lightning interface, event, and tokens. So what are the things here you can see, which includes Lightning part. These all are comes under the Aura language. See, Aura concepts. But as I said, uh, there is a advanced technology called Lightning Web Components. Nowadays, we are not using any Visualforce pages or Lightning Aura components. So LWC is the new release. So in current projects, few projects are using the Lightning Aura components, but upcoming projects and the existing projects also, they are converting Aura to Lightning Web Components nowadays. So in our sessions directly, you will get a chance to work with the Lightning Web Components only. For interview perspective or for work perspective, no need to have any real-time exposure on these particular concept like Visualforce or Lightning Aura. Even if you are attending any interviews as well. So if you have the Lightning Web Components knowledge, the interviewer don't touch with the Visualforce concept and Lightning Aura concept because of LWC is the new advanced release. So if you know the LWC, so definitely you will crack the interviews because of very rare people nowadays, very rare people having the Lightning Web Components real-time knowledge. Yeah, anyway, but any lightning applications can have the backend logic inside this Apex classes only. So what are the business logics we are going to implement? The business logic should be implemented on the Apex classes, and we used to utilize the Apex classes inside the Lightning part. But as of now, we should discuss only Apex class and triggers. Yeah, from the file button, we can create a new component which includes Apex class, Apex trigger, Lightning related things, and Visualforce related thing. And here you can see the open button. So if you click on this open, whatever the existed classes or triggers or pages, what are the things available inside the development part, you can open anything with the help of open button and the open resource. So the open resource is nothing but, so we are having some standard objects in any particular, like if it is a paid arc or if it is a free arc. So by default, Salesforce will provide account, contact, opportunity lead, like that. So many objects are there. The same way in backend, there are so many objects available. So whatever the objects available, we can open with the help of open resource button. From here, we can open all the backend objects with the help of this open resource button. But don't worry, guys. In our upcoming sessions, you will get a chance to work with each and every type of button and each and every concept as well. Okay. Okay, let me write a few points about the Apex. Yeah, what is Apex, guys? Apex is a language and which runs on which concept? OOPS concept. Do you know OOPS concept? What is meant by OOPS full form? What is the OOPS full form?
Object oriented.
Yeah, object oriented programming structure.
Concept.
Okay. So here, what are the objects available?
Standard objects, custom objects.
Yeah, there are two type of objects available, standard and custom. So Apex can access standard objects and custom objects as well. That's a OOPS concept. And one more point. And Apex is strongly
Typed.
programming language. What is meant by strongly typed?
Case sensitive.
No, Apex is not case sensitive. Not case sensitive. Yeah, so if you know the strongly typed programming language, so you will clear your 50% of doubts on the Apex programming. See, basically within the administration concept, so if you want to build any object, there we are implementing some field values, right? Let's say, for example, let me go to the object level. From object manager top, you can select any object. Yeah, here, if I want to implement any field, there is a button called new, right? If I click on this new button, so the page is now getting into the data type concept, right? See, for any type of information, before saving into the field value, we should provide the proper data type, right? For the administration. The same way, if you want to access any database inside the Apex language, so we should have the proper data types, right? We should have the proper data type along with the variable concept. What is meant by variable? So if you compare with any programming language, so where you can store the data inside the programming, we should create some memory allocations, right? We should create some memory spaces inside the programming. The same way in Apex language also having some memory storage capacity. So while working with the Apex, so since Apex is the strongly typed programming language, we should provide the proper data type. Like here in administrator, we are having some data types like auto number, formula, rule of summary, checkbox, currency, date time. So many things are there. The same way within the programming structure, we are having some data types available. What is the Apex data types, guys?
Number, date and time. Pick list.
There is no specific Apex data type. If you can compare with any programming language like Java, .NET, whatever it is, any programming language, the data types are same: string, integer, and
Integer, characters, varchar,
Boolean.
date, date time, yeah, like this. So many things are there. But is there any difference between the Apex data types and admin data types? There are so many things are there. Number is there, percent is there, phone is there, quick list is there.
Test area.
But within the programming terminology, we are having the basic type of data types. String, if you utilize the string, what type of data you can store inside the string? If you utilize integer, what type of data you can store? Basically, see, as I said, Apex is the strongly typed without having the data type. And there is one more concept called variable. What is meant by variable here? Variable is the
Nothing but a
container or memory location.
location.
Yeah, so whatever the data you are receiving from the object level, let's say, for example, as per our project requirement, there is a camp location object is there, right? So if I want to update all existed camp locations, first of all, I should collect the required information within the programming, right? With the help of programming, I should collect the data. All the year 16 records are there. If I want to perform any DML operation, DML is nothing but data manipulation language. Any DML operation inside the programming, like if I want to change the record information with the help of program, first of all, I should collect the record information in our programs only, right? So once I receive the 16 record, where I can store the records inside the Apex class. So that is called variable concept. So variable can store the data, whatever the data you are receiving through the receiving from the objects. So we call it as the variable. In Salesforce terminology, the memory container or memory locator, we call it as variable. So since Apex is strongly typed, we should have the proper data type along with the variable. Like let's say, for example, in other technologies, if you want to assign any name, directly you can assign name is equal Mahesh, correct? Directly, if I compare with Java, directly you can give the name value, I mean to say field value and the field API name and the field value. But within the Apex, it is not possible. If you want to provide any information, first you should have the proper data type. Along with the data type, you should mention the variable. The variable names are user friendly and you can choose your own variable name. It is not depending on the programming or the requirement. We can provide any name inside the variables. But without having the proper data type, your variable cannot store any information. So that is the reason Apex is strongly typed programming language. Let's say, for example, I want to check the first name and last name functionality. String, the variable name is first name. First name is the variable name, or else you can add any information. First name is equal the data. The string can access what type of data? If I write a string is the data type, what type of data we can access inside the programming? String.
Alphabet.
Yes, yeah, string. Whatever it is, number, character, special character. If you use the string is the data type, it can store any type of information, right? Just like if within the admin functionality, see, if I choose the text is a data type, what type of characters I can create, what type of data I can insert, allow users to insert any combination of letters and numbers, right? The same way within the programming, we are having the string data type. The string can store any type of information. But always the string value should be a single quotes. First name is, and I want to check my last name. As I said, Apex is not a case sensitive, but it follow some standards like strongly typed and which runs on Web's concept. So it's not a case sensitive language, but let's say, for example, if I want to check my first name and last name using the integer type data type, is it possible or not? It's not possible. And one more important thing. So once the line is closed, like once the statement is closed, you should close with the semicolon. Then only your statement will be closed. If you don't apply the semicolon, again it throws the error. So this is the basic syntax and basic functionality in Apex, guys. First, you should learn about the variable concept and the data type concept. So there is an official documentation available from the Salesforce.com, and you can type Apex data type inside the Google. See, from the developer.salesforce.com, so you can refer this link. It's a Salesforce.com official developer guide, guys. There they clearly mention each and every concept. What are the concepts available in the programming, like Apex programming? Here you will clearly get the proper documentation. In my sessions, I would like to teach like project oriented and live Apex sessions only. Because if I teach all these things like what is data type, how it works, if I go with the theoretical explanation, I think the 3 months time is not sufficient. It will take up to 1 year. It's not possible to complete within the 3 months program. This is the 3 months program, right? So that is the reason I divided to 2 parts in our programming language. So from the practical experience, you will get it from my end. For theoretical part, I'd like to explain the same way. Like for the basic information, I will open this anonymous window. This is called anonymous window. I'll open this anonymous window and I'll explain in proper way. But coming to the theoretical concept and notes perspective, you should refer this developer guide. There you will get each and every point with a clear explanation. Like what is data type, how many types are there? Data types. Primitive, non-primitive. Yeah. So these are the normal data types. Like data type, double, ID, integer, long, object. So string, time, so many things are there. So after my session, you should do the research on this developer guide. Then you will get a clear picture about the live programming language. In my session, my responsibility is I need to explain the concept wise, and I need to provide the best thing, like what we call the best. I mean, so many projects are having some huge number of code lines, but nowadays every architect for every project there is a technical architect, and there are so many business analysts are available. So they are clearly reviewing the code part. Like if you write any code, if it is having 10 lines of code, if it is possible to cut down from 10 lines to 5 lines. So, but you don't know the best practice things. If you write 10 lines with your own knowledge, so your code is not getting approved for the deployment process, because of nowadays for every project there are some technical architect and so many business integration experts are there. So that is the reason I'd like to teach as a best practice mode. For the nodes perspective, you should refer the Salesforce.com Apex developer guide. And in my sessions, like as I said, I'd like to give brief about the live oriented things, like what is Apex, how the actual program is running inside the projects, and how the requirement will come, how as a developer we can analyze the requirement, and how can we write a Apex trigger, and how can we implement logic inside the Apex classes, and for best practice, how we can cut down the code. So these things I'll discuss during the sessions. At the same time, at least 5 to 10 requirements I will take during the sessions, and I'll explain in proper way, and I'll implement the code in live, and automatically it will show the results on the object level. So automatically you will get the functionality understanding. So once you get the functionality understanding, slowly you are able to write the program without having any dependency. So first you should learn the syntaxes, and after you should know about the Apex functionality, like it is strongly typed. So while declaring any variables, you should give the proper data type, Apex data type. So many things are there. We'll discuss whatever the best practice things available in our upcoming sessions. But let me execute this statement. As I said, this is one statement. The statement is ended here. If I want to print this functionality, so just like in our Java or C languages, there are println and something are there. But within the Salesforce, there is a keyword called system.debug. automatically it will receive the functionality. You can choose the existing system.debug. So what by default you will get the single code. What are the information provided inside the single sorry single code? Automatically it will print as this. Hide that. Last, I would like to print the string value. The string variable is first name only. This is the printing statement, guys. If you want to print anything inside the Apex language, this is the syntax for printing the result. So basically we are having data type and variable. So as I said, variable can store the data. So what is the data here? This value, right side value. Right side value is the data and the memory location is first name. The data type is string. Now I would like to print this particular line, like line number 8 value. If I print this, if I execute my program, what are the information available on the line number 8? I would like to print as this. For printing perspective, there is a syntax called system.debug. Inside this system.debug, can say the single quote. I would like to change my first name is plus first name. I'm calling this first name value, but let me check once I execute this line. So I'm just highlighted these two lines. Here you can see two buttons are there. One is execute, another one is execute highlighted. So if I click on this execute highlighted button, what are the code lines highlighted? Only these two lines will be executed. I'll tell you the difference between the execute and execute highlighted. Let me click on the open log. Like once, if you click on this open log, whatever the log file generated in backend, automatically you are able to open directly. If I execute this statement, yeah, our code is executed. See, as I said, this is the logs button, logs tab. Here, what are the code executions are there? Each and every execution log will be available inside the logs tab. So our status is showing success. So if there is a debug only button available, if you click on the debug only, what are the statement you are trying to print, you can see the same information inside the debug log. See, here you can see the my first name is Gunji. But in our program, in our code line, I am printing the first name value. But the first name is the variable part. But the exact value is having the right side part in Gunji. Correct? So in the same way, if you are trying to access your object information, I will explain in later part, guys. Don't worry, I just hard coded the value. But in real time scenarios, always we should collect the data from the object level, like from the camp location object. If I go with the any record, from this record, if I want to access contact name or contact person mobile number, so I should call this field API name, then only I will receive this available values. But for the example perspective, I'm showing here first name and last name. The same statement, you can print the debug log once again here. First end this statement here with the help of semicolon, and instead of first name, last name, and also you should provide the last name variable here. See, if I execute these lines, let me execute. Yeah, our code is executed and the status is showing success. Let me open the debug file. See, here you can see the result. My first name is Gunji and my last name is Mahesh. So before we executed only first name log file and first name code block, we are receiving only the output is first name relevant. Now I executed these four code lines, and now in this tab we are getting the two debug logs. One is for first name, one is for last name. But if you identified instead of first name, it is printing Gunji is the value. Instead of last name, it is printing Mahesh is the value. So the values will be returning from the variable part. So for the object reference perspective, we should always depend on the variable automatically will receive the data. What are the data available inside the variable part? Yeah. Any questions, guys?
No questions.
Yeah. Please tell me, guys, if you have any questions or if you have struggled to understand, you have no need to worry. Salesforce is entirely new functionality and it is having their own naming convention. I mean, naming structure and the syntax structure is different, but no need to worry. First, let me go to the basic documentation part. Like, if you open the Apex data types concept, here you can see that there are two types of data types. So as of now, we are discussing primitive type data type. See, tomorrow we'll discuss brief about the variable concept and the data type concept. And if you have any questions, please let me know. We'll discuss. Yeah, I don't want to spend much time for the theoretical part, guys. So I suggest, I think it's no need. If you know the functionality part, so that's sufficient. Automatically, you are able to discuss about the concept. Yeah, if you don't have any questions, we'll wind up for now. And I'll share this particular developer guide link. And after the session, you can go through it and try to understand the variable part and the data type part. Yeah, you can refer this link and you will get something. Yeah, Kunal, Josh, and Pavan. Yeah, Venki is a brilliant student. If you don't have any questions.
I have a question.
Okay, if you don't have any questions, we'll wind up the session, guys.